Scrapbookers and creative friends. I'm Linda Petuch, Creative Memories Independent Advisor in Jupiter, Florida. Welcome to Thursday Thoughts. First, I want to thank all of my subscribers. I really appreciate your support. If you've not subscribed, please go ahead, push that button to subscribe, and then also click the bell, and you'll get notified whenever I post my next video. Now, last Thursday Thoughts, we talked about project recipes, and the teacher in me has to go back and visit that again, because yes, I showed you some samples and talked a little bit about it, but I decided I really wanted to show you how to use one. I'm going to take you step by step. Now, I may have to fast forward during some of the cutting or just cut the video because that would take forever. I have done some pre-tracing, but I want to explain what I meant about flipping the paper and the template. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. And I am using the new Diamond Kite, which is Creative Memories' newest recipe template. Also, today is World Bee Day. It's May 20th when I'm videotaping this, and today we had a new launch, which it's a buy and get free bundles. So you may want to check out the links below, because you may want to do some shopping, because you will get a nice reward. And the 2 millionth package is about to be shipped. We don't know who it's going to be, but whoever the lucky person is, they're going to get a $250 spending spree. This is only going to work for this week. That's current, but hopefully it's going to be you. So let's get into the Diamond Kite, and let me show you step by step what I was talking about in my last video. Let's get a little more detail done. So this is the Diamond Kite template, and I really like this one. It has so many options, which once we start looking at it, I think you'll see what I mean. But I think it's quite a versatile template, depending on what you focus on. So if you recall, if you haven't seen my last video, or if you don't know about this, one of the first things that you do want to do is go ahead and trace the template on here, because that'll give you your staging area when you're cutting. So besides your template and the template and the clips, the little clips that come with it, which I have right here, the 4 little clips that you can clip it onto your, clip the template onto your paper. So you need that, but you also will need either, I usually use a pencil. For today, I used the Creative Memories dual tip pen, and I used the fine point, just so hopefully you can see the lines better. Once you're placing, you're going to need repositionable tape runner, and have your multi-purpose tool handy. Some of the cutting you can do on your 12-inch trimmer. Some you may have to use your scissors. And I just basically use my scissors for this one. And then when you are placing your pieces, have a silicone mat or parchment paper or something that you can use to put them down. Okay, so let me just set these supplies out of the way for a minute. I'm not far away though. And what I'm doing, I'm working on a power layout for our Puppies and Pocket Pets album. So the paper I'm using today is Bark and Meow. And I've already used quite a few sheets. So what I've chosen today, it's a little bit busy, so it was hard to see the pencil, which is why I used the pen in order to trace. So let's look at what I did here. So the first thing that you have to do, and I do this when I'm planning to use the template, I make notes for myself. Remember, we label the top with the Creative Memories logo here. This is the top, just so that the designs here match the designs that they have on here. Okay, so I decided on this piece of paper, I decided that I wanted to have, using this Diamond Kite, I wanted the, by the way, this is like a wonderful geometry lesson. And I really focused on the squares, which are pretty obvious, the squares, the parallelograms, and the trapezoids. I didn't worry about the triangles, or even the diamond, but I just used the squares, the 4 squares, and then each one of the parallelograms and trapezoids. So the way I divided it up, I decided that I wanted the trapezoids in the 4 corners, and the trapezoids that are here in this, that make this central square area, I decided I wanted those to be the more subtle paper, the green paper. So what I do is I trace on the flip side. So when I wanted to trace these trapezoids, I turned my paper over, because remember, this is the side I want to show. So I put my trapezoid here, and I didn't do it this way. I flipped it over so that it would be where I wanted it. So what you do is you flip it over, and you put your clips on. I only put the top ones. I didn't put the bottom ones so that I could keep lifting it and changing. But you do, when you get to some of these thinner lines, you may have to hold it with your finger when you do the tracing so it doesn't get off the line. So I've traced, so after I traced all the trapezoids, then I took this off. I flipped over the paper and the template, because now I was going to use, now I'm going to trace the parallelograms. The parallelograms, I want it to be on the busier side, which is this other flip side. So I want the tracing, I wanted to do the drawing, the tracing here, so when I cut it, you won't see the lines. Now, this is pretty busy paper, but what I did was I looked at it to see if at least most of the puppy faces will be showing through there, and they are. So that's what I did. So all the tracing, once all your tracing is finished, then you want to get your paper that you've traced. Get your paper that you've traced, make your little staging area, and you see I did make my notes here. The trapezoids, I'm sorry, the trapezoids are green, parallelograms are going to be the pups with the glasses, and then the mats I could just cut 4x4, so I'll make my photos a little bit smaller than 4x4. So there are my notes, and then you just start cutting. Now, I'm going to start with the corners first, and the way I do it is I just find that line, cut across. This is the part I don't think you're going to want to watch all this. I'm going to cut it. Let me just show you the first one. So after you cut them, you can have a wastebasket close by. I'm just going to make a little corner. After you cut them out, so these are our first little trapezoid cuts. Now this would be this way, so I'm going to put this one up here in my staging area. That'll hold its spot so I don't get confused. And when you have an intricate design, it is kind of tricky to make sure that you don't confuse yourself, especially with the angles, because a lot of these designs, like the knot and so forth, they're pretty angular. Okay, so there are my first two, and I'm going to continue doing that until I have all of my trapezoids, and then I will go on to the parallelograms. It's just a matter of cutting. Now, some of these are some straight cuts, but to me, I think it's just easier. You can use your 12-inch trimmer, but I think it's almost easier to just cut it by hand. And the other thing I wanted to mention is when you draw your lines and you start cutting, you need to make a decision and make it consistent. You either want to cut directly on your line that you drew, to the left of your line, or to the right of your line, and you have to do the same thing with every cut. Otherwise, the measurements are going to be a little bit off. Okay, and now I will continue. Let me do parallelograms so you get the idea. So the parallelograms are down here. I'm just going to cut around them just to get them off this giant sheet of paper. I do have the pieces left. There are some little pieces left that you can use for mats, but not a lot of big things. Great for punching if you want to punch things. Punch out little shapes and things. Okay, so let's get these down here. Because remember, this is not going to be the green side. This is going to be the puppy side. This is a little more tedious. You'll know right away if it's the right shape or not. There we go. All right, and we put this little friend next to it. And you just continue doing this until you get all the way through the entire design. These are pretty easy cuts. And of course, because this design is kind of all over the place, it doesn't have a strict directionality, then you're pretty safe however you choose to do it. This is a good time to be listening to music or listening to a movie you've watched multiple times, so you don't really have to see everything that's going on. Okay. So once you start doing this, the fun about this too is once you start putting this down in your staging area, then you start getting a really good look at what the design is going to turn out to be. And you can, you know, you can visualize it as you're planning, but once you start seeing the pieces going together, it's really fun. Okay. What I'm doing the next one, I'm going to go up to the top so you can see those beside each other. I have a feeling I'm going to be really fast forwarding through this because you don't need to see me do this over and over a million times. My daughter's my editor, and she says it's just better to keep the video going, but it may totally fill up my phone and my iPad. Okay, let's go up here. That would, whoops, that would be this side. Love it. Look at those little puppies. See, that's one thing you do have to look when you put the template on to decide on your paper. Check it out and make sure that the design that you're going to end up with shows enough. If you want that, the design, the pattern on there too. If you want to see a lot of it, you want to make sure that you check it out first. Okay, look at those little puppies. So cute. Yes, so my next video, I am working on a power layout for my Puppies and Pocket Pet album, because I'm actually going to be scrapbooking with friends, but not at my house. And I'm just not used to scrapbooking away from my stash. So I really, truly have to do some planning, which is what I am working on. So let me see. I'm going to put this up here. Then I think we're going to pause and let me finish the cutting, because there's a lot of cutting left to do. And it'll be like a wonderful, magical thing when we come back and it's all sitting on the staging area. And then I'll show you how I put it together. Oh my gosh. Yes, go. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let me finish cutting and then I'll be back. Oh, okay, it was just those. So, okay, so all the trapezoids are green, and all of the parallelograms are the puppy paper. So it's not too busy, but it sure gives a nice little design. So then what you have to decide to do is how you're going to put this in your album. If you're going to put it right down on your white pages, you need your template again. You want to turn it around so that it's the top is there, and then we can use our clips to hold it in place. I decided that I want to use this orange shimmer to put this on, so I'm going to pick up on some of the orange that's in there, and it'll look good with the pictures that I have for my puppies. So you put this here, and you could put this orange shimmer down on into your album if you want to, but if you're going to I use them a lot for top loading pocket pages, as you know, so I don't want to put it there. When you are placing larger pieces, you can have these hooks, which I'll show you when we get to the very end. So now what you're going to do is you're going to get your, I'm going to use this is the little mat that comes with the Advisor Join bundle. Join my team and you can get 3 mats, silicone mats. This large one, this one, and then the long skinny one that's great for borders. But in any case, get your repositionable tape, and from your staging area, you're going to move the pieces now over onto the other side. So I'm going to start at the top. And I'm going to start putting the pieces inside the template. Sometimes this is where you might need your multi-purpose tool as a handy dandy thing to have. Okay, we're just going to add the pieces. This might be another speed up thing because it is a lot of pieces. I'm just going across the top. You can go in whatever pattern you want because you've already done the work, the planning work, the tracing work, and the cutting work. You see, it already takes on a different look when you have it on a different color paper besides white. Then because you have these lines here like stained glass, you end up with a different design, a little bit different addition, not a different design, but an addition to your design. Makes it even more fun. You see, we're ending up with the the green trapezoid corners. Okay, there we go. I think this is going to take too long. I do believe I should spare you. And I'm going to pause this so that we can speed it up. Now, if you notice, this this paper has upside down and right side up animals, so it was a really good one to use because it doesn't matter the direction. You know, if you have a directionality issue, the stripes, it's hard to do these with stripes. You have to be very careful if you're using stripes. They're not my number one choice for that reason. But, oh, the other thing I want to mention to you, note to self, when I started cutting these out, I went crazy willy-nilly because I didn't want to hold you up. And I cut off the ends of some of my trapezoids and I had to retrace them. So be calm, cool, and collected when you're doing this because you don't, whoops, I just popped them. You don't want to have to retrace. Luckily, this paper was very easily remedied. I had enough scraps in between, you know, like in this areas where the mats would be coming from. Okay, that goes there, that goes there. This must be from here. Yes, it is. This is from here. I can't be on camera and have enough space. Oh, see, I can already see this little one. It's at a funky monkey angle. The repositionable tool truly does help for this. And you'll see when I take off this template how it also can be adjusted. I somehow have lost a piece. I don't know how I did that. Okay, I'm going to pause until I get all the pieces put on the board. All right, I'm pretending we did it together. Here we are. My last piece to put on here. You get that from the staging area to, this would be your album page. Now, you don't need this anymore. To get that out of the way. Now, this is not something you want to rip off like a Band-Aid. You do want to be calm, cool, and collected as you take this off. Have your multi-purpose tool handy because you may have to work a little bit with the adhesive. Calmly. That's the most difficult part for me. I'm always very rambunctious. Just ask my friends and family. They will tell you. Rambunctious is my name. This tests my patience. Ta-da! So there we go. Isn't that so pretty? And then I decided that I would pick up on the yellows for my photo mats, and those will go here. Let's just adhere those down. I could use regular tape runner in that, which, since my repo just went out, I'm going to do that. These are pretty easy to put on here. It's a simple design. It's a perfect stage for 4. This is going to be page for Paco, our little chihuahua, whose name, one of his very many, he's Paquito. We also have nickname of Paco Taco. This is going to be Paco Taco's page, which I will show you next week when I show you my power layout. Which if you are an organizer, a planner, you are going to love doing a power layout. So there we have it. So, Diamond Kite. Didn't really do any of their designs. That's what I'm saying. These are very flexible. So there we go. There is our the trapezoids provide the corners, that little star in the middle. I guess it's kind of like a kite. Then these are 4x4 squares, so I will be cutting my photos like 3 3¾ squares so that they fit on there. And one more thing I want to show you. This is the third one. This is the third diamond kite that I've created. I want to show you the other two, which I've already put in my Puppies and Pocket Pets albums because I'm planning that. Let me just show you those very quickly. The first one is my title page. And I did the planning, I did the plan, decided the trapezoids were going to be the corners, and that I wanted the parallelograms to be this little heart paper. And on those 4-inch, because this is my title page, on those little 4-inch squares, I used, these are the last of my large Heart Mrs. Grossman stickers. This you might recognize from National Scrapbook Day. These are some old Miss Grossman stickers, which we used to use for creative memories. Of course, I used the little sticker letters. I did use my Titletopia, the new little round Titletopia, to help line these up a bit. Multi-purpose tool, your favorite and most favorite tool when you're working on this kind of stuff. So there's on my title page, and I did one more for our grand cat, Mr. Frisk. Mr. Frisk, again, the diamond cut. This is much simpler. Oh, I forgot. I wanted to show you. I'll show you on the title again. I did cut a 1/2-inch frame from this plaid paper, and this little cat, fish skeleton paper is the flip side. I believe it's the flip side of this. Can I peek? I don't want to mess up my layout. Oh no, it's the flip side of the one I used for the title page. So that little cat paper. And so again, very simple design. The squares, and then I just matted, made smaller mats, and then put the Frisky pictures on there. Again, very simple diamond with the diamond kite. Let's go back, and over here, this I did make a 1/2-inch frame, which I cut with a 12-inch trimmer. I showed you that technique in another video. We can talk about it again if you're not real familiar with that, using the 12-inch trimmer for that. But that is diamond kite. Very flexible, and I hope that helped you so that you can see all the variations. Well, thanks for coming along with me, learning about the recipe template. I hope this gave you a little more information so you feel a little more comfortable. I'm saying, honestly, just dive in there and get started. If you're not comfortable using your designer paper, then use some paper that you wouldn't use for another reason, or some scrap paper just to practice. But I hope this encourages you to try that. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, happy scrapbooking.